Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
The Daily Compliance News for December 7, 2023, the No Foul But a Harm edition. And we begin with that story from the Washington Post. The U.S. Supreme Court seems prepared on Wednesday to make it easier for workers to pursue employment discrimination claims by companies who reassign workers to less prestigious roles. The claim by the St. Louis Police Department was that there was no reduction in pay and therefore no harm, but such transfers obviously harm career prospects and other issues relating to employment. Next up, from the New York Times Dealbook, Andrew Ross Sorkin reports that he thought many leaders contended with an existential moment of even leaders who usually display unrestrained confidence, expressed unease about the state of the world. Obviously, the corruption brought by the Trump administration is high on that list, and his now self-professed desire to be a dictator. But of course, the Israeli-Hamas war and other conflicts are high on these lists. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance, Richard Vanderford reporting that SEC head Gary Gensler has cautioned businesses about peddling, quote, phony AI-related hype, end quote, what he called AI washing, or making false artificial intelligence-related claims, likening it to greenwashing phenomena that's been the previous target of the SEC's crackdown against companies falsely reporting ESG issues. Gensler said securities law bar phony claims and require companies to give full, fair, and truthful disclosures. Don't do it, he said. One shouldn't greenwash and one shouldn't AI wash. It's emerged as an informal term that describes businesses making unfounded AI claims to the public. And our final story comes to us from Politico, which went through a vast cache of leaked documents around Qatargate, which of course is the EU corruption scandal where Qatar, Morocco, and Mauritania spent around $4 million in bribery and corruption against EU officials. The trove of documents shows meticulously recorded alleged attempts to manipulate the EU Parliament and engage in widespread bribery and corruption. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.